Ok.
I'd be glad to.
Yep. Nah. What the hell happened with the door? Oh, he right, because of the fire. Okay, fair enough.
It must be soon. 2 days, no more.
I can do that. That's settled.
Sorry. Didn't hear you come in. I'm Thiersch. I've lived here long enough that Kith have started calling me the Old Hunter. And that's about all I can say for my... Wasn't the ogres, I can tell you that. Put a few arrows in one of... But I've been hunting this wolf for near a year now. The beast has already claimed many lives. The first got the better of me this last time. Distracted me long enough for one of its kin to turn up. Nearly bit me clean in half. I'm a few weeks out from trying again. No ordinary wolf. A monster doesn't always finish its meals. Damn thing. In any case, it needs to... It roams the russet wood out to the west. Yeah. It's picked off some scattered ogres from time to time. But mostly it's been going after hunters. Travelers. It needs doing. But I warn you, this beast is... Watch yourself on the mount. Coming to your elders, well, I can tell you it won't be here much longer if things go on as they are. With them, we're losing people every month. Too many mouths to feed. I've been lucky. I've hides and horns enough to keep the traders happy, but now the ogres are picking the... The moment we started looking into Durgan's battery, it was like we'd... You made a good showing against that last group. Didn't expect you'd be one of the godlike. But then, if anyone was gonna turn up here at the ass end of nowhere to save... It's been a colder season than usual, and the elk herds aren't faring well. We're stuck fighting with the ogre, not to mention the occasional beast. We've lost a lot of young hunters. It has. We had some hope in the early days that we'd be spared, isolated as we are. Not everyone's been so unlucky, of course. You'll see. Long hours checking snares and waiting out elk, mostly. Used to, which means keeping Stalwart fed, or else keeping it safe. Thing is,
Don't see the harm. Building's thirsty work. Say, you're the one we have to thank for fighting off the ogres, right? Never.
Let me know when you do.
I would have helped fight them monsters off, you know, if I didn't think I'd just get in the way. And with you there to handle things, everything turned out... Oh, Avrick's the innkeeper over at the Grave's Rest. I may have been hiding in the inn when the fighting... Did you know he has a whole case of Fenlin liquor in there? I keep offering to buy it off him, but he said... As if we're gonna last that long. Anyhow, he said he'd thrash me up and down the mountain if I didn't leave him be. It's delusional is what it is. Point of fact, what with you dealing with ogres and everything, maybe you'd... Avrick keeps all the good stock in the inn cellar. Out of sight, you see. I mean, it's bound to be under lock and key. Well, Avrick can be a little intimidating when it comes to his beverages. But otherwise, not much, I guess. Shh, all right, keep it down. didn't mean anything by it. But if you happen to come... They've destroyed the stockade, Mother! It's...
Enough. They're gone. The deliverer of Cadnua. Thank you for making the journey. Abidan knows it's... well, I'm sure you wagered on a more civilized welcome. Still, we're much obliged for your capable intervention. Then perhaps you can help us find something. Stalwart isn't much more than a grease stain on a map. What roads we've got in the White March are basically tracks in the snow. And for every trader or adventurer that comes through, 3 of our own. But it weren't always so. There was a time when kings and queens sent their firstborn to these mountains. The Pargrin dwarves transformed the White March once. We could bring some of that greatness back to Stalwart. But we need the White Forge. Then you'll want to keep a tight grip on it. No one's laid a hammer on the White Forge for over 2. I'm hoping you can do something about that. We've been trying to breach Durgan's battery for over a year now. Problem is, the other expeditions can't so much as dent the front door. A dozen different groups have come through at our request, and several more besides. Been but young or old, green or seasoned, it don't seem to matter. They cast their spells, chisel at the door, and search the grounds until they've worn new treads into the old stuff. The lucky ones eventually go home. Plenty more find themselves on the... We're an old mining town. Or we were until the Adirans pulled out and left us with a half-dug mine shaft and something resembling an inn. Since then, it's been a steady decline. You've seen the roads. Isn't much we can produce that the Valians can't ship. But the White Forge... well, if we could fire it up again and start producing Durgan steel, or something close to it, wouldn't matter if we're in the White March or the Living Lands. That's the long and short of it. We're laborers, but Durgan steel could put Stalwart on the map again. Open up the mines, bring in new business. We just... because you can shave stone with it. Cleave cast iron in 2, and the stuff's as rare as it is remarkable. If we could make something even half as good, we'd have a market at our doorstep and work enough for all of Stalwart. Where should I start? Ogre? It ain't for lack of trying, I'll tell you that much. Got untold riches in Durgan steel lying just inside. The Adirans who first settled Stalwart tried to crack it. So did the Valians, and every other cocky adventurer with more metal than sense. But the place has a funny way of sealing itself up. Front door stays shut. The tower entrances are clogged with rubble. It don't bear dwelling on. There's too many superstitions about that place as it is.
Killed each other off. Or so the old books say.
Plenty of tales to go around, but none of them open the battery. And the last thing people need is another reason to fear the place. Whatever it was, the other Pargrin dwarven settlements in the White March, Bone Picker, the Hawk, and the rest, emptied out not long after.
Had the right idea, if you ask me. Finally, someone...
Durgan steel wasn't just good. It was some of the best. No one alive today has seen the White Forge, but the old stories tell that it was... Let better-schooled folk puzzle over how the thing was built. I just want to see it put to use. Pargrin's a word in their language. Means traveler. They've been wanderers for generations, but the battery's up the mountain to the north.
Near Galvino's place, huh?
So it is. Though I was going to suggest dealing with that ogre camp before anything. Mestre Galvino, as the old crosspatch prefers it, lives by himself and keeps...
She means to say he's a skilled smith and animancer, who's lived in the shadow of Durgan's battery for over a decade.
And he butters his bread on both sides and fits his left shoe before his right. But that's neither here nor there. Me and the rest of the town. He knows better than to link. Old lunatic finally went too far. And we sent word to the Valiant Academy. I don't like speaking on it, but if you want to get his guff, just remind him that we...
Ain't nobody here fond of the man, but he's a clever hand and a quick study. It's a fool who thinks he stayed so close to the battery without figuring something about it.
You said as much to the last party, and we haven't seen hide nor hair of him since. Maybe they didn't run... Just watch your step. Galvino's place is a ways east of the bat. Belongs to flames that whisper. Matron Baragon.
Hunting elk and otherwise minding their own damn business.
Minding their own business. Never mind the latest expedition's disappearance, or the broken stockade.
I'm saying we shouldn't agitate him further.
One less matron would make our walls safer. What's left? Also, Baragons like to have whatever the last expedition found. Rumor has it they disappeared.
Killing a matron will only make our problems worse. The way to approach Baragon is with your hands held high.
If anyone could parley with an ogre, I suppose it'd be you. But they aren't known for their patience with prattle. Good. Before you leave town, stop by the Grave's Rest. Most visitors to Stalwart spend some time there, so Hafric and his patrons may be able to give you the lay of the land. What's on your mind? The Pargrin dwarves guard. What's on your mind? Adir founded us back in their colonial days to supply ore to the Empire. But after the Deerwood claimed independence, Defiance Bay found cheaper places to get ore, officially. Though with the state the roads are in, you wouldn't guess it. Here in the center? Let's see. The fishery's just on the edge of the lake, and a few folk live in this part of town, too. Thiersch lives next to the old mine shaft. I'm the mayor. Or so I'm reminded every time there's a game shortage, ogre attack, or a neighborly dispute. I'm a builder by trade, though. Traveled all over Air Glonfoth and the Deerwood in my younger days, but ended up back here anyway. What's on your mind? They didn't volunteer much, and I knew better than to ask. I've seen all types charging through here. Professional companies with shiny new equipment, but these folk, I don't know what they were after. And the way they looked at you, wish I could tell you more. What's on your mind?
I can do that. That's settled.
Something else you need? It's a fool's hope. A fantasy that's kept these parts in. They say the Pargrunan dwarves developed Durgan's, and then one day, they locked nothing like a mystery to stir folk up. But that don't stop them from whispering a prayer when they pass the old fortress. About the only thing folk here haven't tried. Killing one more matron won't change. Besides, her clan's flames that whisper. The one that attacked us was wolf with many mouths.
They're cut from the same cloth, Aldrich. Only a matter of time before Baragon marches through that gap in our walls.
Mother's convinced that a magic forge will turn this frozen crack in me. I'm a carpenter, Mother's a builder, so it felt like a good fit. Not that we've got a lot of new folk to build houses and furnishings for. These days I spend...
Yeah, okay.